Hello, welcome back. I'm David Lazar, Group Product Manager of Developer Tools here at Microsoft. And as we covered in the opening session, I'm going to be talking about Microsoft's strategy for this new web services platform and developer tools. This has previously been codenamed NGWS. At the PDC and Forum 2000, we will be announcing the final name for NGWS. Today we'll be referring to the Web Services Platform and Visual Studio Toolset, and just a little caveat that the final naming for NGWS, which will be an umbrella brand, will change as of Forum 2000, which is right now taking place next week. So I'm going to spend about the next hour with you covering the platform strategy and tell you why we are so excited about these new announcements that we'll be making at Forum 2000 and the PDC. We're going to be announcing significant enhancements to the platform and the tool set. We've been rolling out some of these here since February of 2000, but we're really going to deliver the complete story around the Web Services Platform and Visual Studio Tools. And these enhanced technologies are going to enable the next generation that we see happening on the Internet. So it's really an exciting time, and this information, I think, will be critical for your customers in the field. On this first slide, we're really talking about the three phases that we've seen on the Internet. Bill has talked about this next phase coming up as really the third phase of the Internet. The first two phases being all about establishing connectivity so that computers can talk to each other. The next being about presentation, really the phase of HTML and web pages. The paradigm for users really has been about browsing on the web, and it's been really a very one-way experience. In this next phase, this third phase of the Internet, we see the enabling technology moving from HTML to XML, and the paradigm really shifting from presentation to programmability. Now, I'm a developer by trade, so I'm very, very excited about this capability of treating websites and web applications as programmable components that can be assembled to create new applications. We're going to be talking about that capability and about the new business opportunities that this capability is going to enable. Now, we call this programmability on the web services. So web services are really all about shifting the focus from delivering software to delivering services. Microsoft will deliver software and services and enable our customers to easily deliver software and services in this paradigm. So web services is really the strategy that is going to move us into the next phase of the Internet, and the Web Services Platform is the technology stack that Microsoft will be delivering that builds on COM and COM Plus today to enable web services. So we've got web services as the paradigm, Web Services Platform as the technology, and the key new capability is programmability on the web. All right, flipping over to my next slide. The web today is really like islands of data. You see there are millions and millions of websites, a number of different client devices, including client PCs, handheld devices and cell phones, TV, like web TV. But really, what you don't see here is a two-way experience or an experience that integrates all of the various information on the web. Really, the websites that are out there today are, for the most part, islands of data. And this is really what we see as the catalyst for the next paradigm shift. Let's talk about what a user sees on the web today with my next slide. And this is a build slide, so stay with me on this slide. What I'm going to talk about is how these dots, these .coms, are really going to be connected together with web services. So I'm using this tagline, connecting the dots, and you may see more of that in the weeks and months to come. I'm going to start out and I'm going to describe the user perspective on web services. What is a user going to see that's going to be different about their internet experience? How can we as Microsoft describe web services to get users really excited about this paradigm shift that they're seeing? So the first thing that you see on your slide here is a number of different devices. I'm showing, 5 different devices here, from handheld and cellular all the way on up to the powerful PCs that we have on the desktop today. And really today, those devices are somewhat islands unto themselves as well. When I use my cell phone and I use my PC, I'm really connecting in a very different way to the web today. That's the first thing to remember, is that those devices usually require different accounts and provide a wholly different set of websites and a wholly different set of content and a wholly different experience from each other. And that's the first thing that kind of makes the web a series of islands today. Now, what I'm building are kind of the wide variety of sites that a user needs to work with today, or has available to them on the web today. In the upper right-hand corner, you see possibly some financial sites, and these are just generic services that you might find on the web. A stockbroker, a news outlet, a bank, being 3 examples of some financial sites that you might see on the web. Below that, authentication and credit card represent some horizontal services that a user might interact with in order to get things done on the web. And then at the lower right-hand corner, you see some corporate services that are normally thought of as corporate portal-type services, including corporate email, procurement, a CRM system, and of course the procurement system fans out in the back to include connections to other websites. And today, the users on the left-hand side of the screen are connecting to all of these different services on the right-hand side of the screen using a different metaphor, using different URLs, using different logins, using different user interface. You see what I'm saying is all of these experiences are very different. And I'm representing that with all of these different arrows being the connection points to all of these different websites. It's kind of like, again, dealing with islands of data. Now, the web services vision that we're talking about here today is really going to unify all of these sites into a series of personalized user experiences, a series of personalized web services sites that are able to deliver an aggregation of multiple services into a single user experience. That's kind of techie talk for what the web services platform is going to provide, but from a user perspective, they're going to see a reduction in the number of sites that they have to travel to in order to get their work done. A great example of this is I was recently on a trip, in fact, to Orlando for TechEd, and I was able to connect to the United Airlines website before I left Orlando, and I was able to program the website and ask it to send updates to my cell phone if there was a change in the flight departure time, or a change in the flight gate number. So this is really an example of things starting to work together, with United providing me with the ability to tie together the website and the telephone and tie that in to my particular itinerary. What we're really talking about as a vision is being able to extend that so that the information can flow to the person who's scheduled to pick me up from the airport, so that they can be notified if the flight is going to be more than 30 minutes late. We're talking about extending that to my schedule, so that my schedule is automatically updated with, say, my seat number and my confirmation number, and that schedule is immediately available to my family members who want to know when I'm going to be getting home from the airport. So as you can see, what we're talking about is being able to aggregate the various services: the scheduling component, the contact information, my flight information from United Airlines, the fact that I have a cell phone, and tying all of that information together in a single account. I'm showing here personal finance, personal email, shopping, as all various examples of how we can tie together all these disparate islands of information into web services. And that's what I'm building here now on the screen for you, is this notion of web services, my web services, being my experience, the emphasis there on my, of tying together all of these devices, of reducing the number of logons that I have to deal with, of cutting down on the number of various user interfaces that I have to remember, but letting me get more done by leveraging the power of a programmable web. So that is the vision for an end-user experience of web services. Let's switch now to the next slide, and I want to talk a little bit about what is the business benefit or the business experience of web services. So going over to the next slide now, we're taking a look at the business perspective. And what I've really done here is just given you a blow-up of the previous slide. I'm starting off with web services and the various devices that are connecting in to those web services. And we think that businesses on the web will really think about how they expose their services as web services. We think that it won't be so much about my website or about specifically the XML that I'm surfacing, but really about the services that I'm providing. And we'll get more into this as the day goes on. I'm going to build this now, and really what we're looking at is kind of now the back end of how a business thinks about their particular set of services and how they're going to integrate with their business partners. What I've put up now are mega services, B2B partners, and internal applications. We really see web services as a means of integration for your business, your .com business, with all of these key pieces of infrastructure and partners. The thing to stress here really is that web services, as you'll see, are based on standards, internet standards like XML and SOAP, and so they don't make any assumptions about what platforms or what applications or what systems are running on the other side of the wire. So, for example, if you are running your business on Windows 2000 and running your web applications on Windows 2000, and you have a trading partner that is doing some of their business or running part of their site on Unix and is using Corba objects or is using Perl scripts today to build part of their infrastructure, Web services will enable these two systems to work together, Windows 2000 and Unix, to work together in ways that we haven't seen before, to leverage each other's capabilities, to compose those services together into a single web application that the user sees. So from the business perspective, they really get to compose applications out of various applications without regard to the platform on which they were created, and present a single compelling user experience to their customers. Let me talk a little bit about some of the integration points here, both within and outside of the firewall. First of all, megaservices. Megaservices really define these horizontal services like authentication, credit card processing, maybe scheduler services, etc. These are the types of infrastructure services that you as a business would not want to have to recreate. But you as a business want to be able to use them in a very familiar drag and drop way and program against them using the RAD tools that you're using today to compose your applications. So megaservices are really all about horizontal web services that you can incorporate into your applications today. B2B partners, as I mentioned earlier, we see web services as well as the BizTalk server and BizTalk technologies as being key integration points for your business with your B2B partners. As I mentioned, a key part of this is that web services are object model operating system neutral, so trading is vastly simplified with those B2B partners. And finally, internal apps. Our vision for web services as an extension of the COM platform today that customers are building on enables customers to use the same web services paradigm both within the firewall and outside the firewall. So the web services infrastructure that we're building, we believe, will be just as applicable, scalable, reliable, and performant enough to work both for external apps as well as internal apps. The benefit to IT shops is that they don't have to have a separate infrastructure or a separate application integration technology stack in order to work both inside the firewall with their existing apps and outside with their trading partners. It's really one paradigm to learn, and it incorporates all of the investments that they have today. So that's the business perspective as well as the consumer perspective, and I think you can see that this vision really represents opportunities for both customers to experience the web in a whole new way and businesses to be able to rapidly create new products and services over the web and present those to customers in a very compelling manner. And so we're really excited about the opportunities that web services are going to present. On my next slide, I have a few detail points about web services. If you haven't gotten the point yet about what web services are, specifically defined, they're a paradigm for internet development. They provide programmable web components that developers and other users can use to aggregate new services. Web services are really a way to deliver software applications as services. We enable a richer customer-driven experience with web services and provide the capability for corporations to outsource very easily and really create a virtual corporation, a virtual experience for their users that ties together all of these various services into one consistent customer experience. Web services, of course, need to scale to the internet. We're going to be talking in the next session following mine about that scalability. And of course, operations, the ability to manage these applications, need to be baked right in order for this model to work. From the user experience side, these web services are accessible from any internet-connected device and integrate all the various services that a customer will need. So now I'd like to step back on the next slide for just a moment and have you look at the historical perspective of where we have been and where we're going. I'm going to transition now from talking about the web services paradigm and web services in the generic to Microsoft's specific implementation of web services and what our strategy is going to be to deliver a set of platform and tools that enable web services. So, if you follow the arrow from 1988 all the way through to the present, really we were able to layer additional capabilities and additional technologies into the base operating system. What I wanted to do here for you in this slide was to place all of the various waves of technology into context for you. So wave one was all about MS-DOS. It was really the base operating system. It was really the commoditization of services enabled the commoditization of services on the PC and established the PC as a major consumer and corporate force out there in the world. Windows, the next major wave of technology, brought about or layered on top the GUI, networking capabilities, security, and then later the browser and web server as parts of the Windows operating system. We're really up to about 1994, 1995 now with the advent of the Internet. And the next major phase was Windows DNA. Now, Windows DNA took the application server, the ability to serve applications, and create an N-tier application architecture, really a service-oriented architecture, on top of that Windows and Windows NT base. So the next phase was really all about building web applications. And that's kind of where we are today, where customers have the technologies that they need, the app server, the transactions, the message queuing, the database, all available within Windows DNA to build highly scalable web applications. The next phase, as you can see, starts now. It's the phase of web services, and we see this as really the next major phase that builds on top of Windows and Windows DNA to carry us through for the next 10 years of technological development. And this really has been an evolution where each phase has layered on top of the previous to provide a smooth transition from existing investments to that next phase of capability and benefits. Now I'm going to spend the next 4 slides building up the web services platform capabilities. I'm speaking specifically now about the Microsoft Web Services Platform, the platform that we are going to deliver to enable our customers to take advantage of this web services substrate that is building on the web. So these next 4 slides are really going to talk about the platform capabilities, and then I will tie in some of the features that will enable these benefits and capabilities. So really, these next 4 slides talk all about enhancing customer service, integrating better with business partners, enabling quick reaction to market changes, and improved quality of service. So first, with enhanced customer service, we believe that the very first job that Microsoft and our partners have is to deliver a platform for improved and enhanced customer experience. That's why I started off this morning talking about how a user's experience is going to be improved on this platform. And so what does a compelling user experience mean? It means a rich and consistent experience. It means access from any device, anytime. And it means extended reach, the ability to work in a rich manner offline, to take advantage of broadband capabilities, and to take advantage of wireless capabilities. This is really what we mean when we talk about enhanced customer service. In terms of better integration with business partners, first of all, we see integration really being built in as a key element of this platform. You've heard me talk already about how important integration is with existing systems, with mainframe systems, with Unix-based systems, with other object systems, Corba-based systems, etc. And we really see that as a key part of the web services platform, being able to integrate both inside and outside the firewall. This will really let businesses incorporate new trading partners into their business scenarios much more rapidly and much more easily. As you're going to see later today in the RAD for the Server demo, we're going to enable a drag and drop metaphor to discover the web services that are available both inside my firewall and from my major trading partners. You'll be able to discover those within a window within Visual Studio. You'll be able to drag those into your Visual Studio and environment and start programming against those objects just like you program against COM objects today. So the programming experience against these web services is going to be very familiar and is going to enable businesses to very much more quickly wire up their services and their web applications together to enable new business opportunities. We'll also be talking, I don't think we have a specific session on this today, but we spent some time at TechEd, and we'll have definitely some time at Forum 2000 and PDC to talk about the orchestration capabilities inherent in the BizTalk product. And that really is all about taking these services that you build today with Visual Studio 6 and with Visual Studio 7 and being able to orchestrate those, to orchestrate and coordinate those services using a higher level interface so that more people within the company can take part in this infrastructure and creating this new infrastructure. Okay, switching over to quick reaction to market changes. This is really all about the ability to build these web applications rapidly and to have scalability built in from the start. Too much in the past, it's been very easy to build applications quickly, but not have them be able to scale to web proportions. And our design point really for Visual Studio Next Generation is to enable developers to build these applications rapidly, but to build them in such a way with intelligent state management and a distributed architecture and stateless connectivity to back-end systems so that these systems will really scale up to meet the requirements of the web and of the intranet. It's very interesting to look at the difference in the model between today's Visual Studio applications and competitive applications, and our new vision for web services and what that will enable. In today's case, with COM and with Corba, developers are really building tightly coupled applications where components are very tightly coupled and high performant, but at the same time are very, very brittle and subject to the vagaries of the internet. If, for example, you need to get some particular information within your application from a mainframe system, and you have a tightly coupled architecture, your users are going to be waiting for that mainframe system to come back with the answer before they can continue on to their next task. This tightly coupled architecture is really what limits, in a lot of ways, scalability today. Now, Microsoft has been bringing out new technologies to enable a more loosely coupled architecture. Things like message queuing with MSMQ and loosely coupled messaging within the Windows 2000 series of servers. In Visual Studio 7 and with the Web Services platform, we're really going to make that loosely coupled message-based model an intrinsic part of the applications that you build, so that the loosely coupled architecture will enable your applications to perform much better, to scale much better to internet requirements. We call it fire and forget. The user can go ahead, get their business done, and their work can be in the queue, and then we can manage by exception. If something goes wrong, we can notify them later. But they're not stuck within that tightly coupled architecture waiting for everything to happen. The other thing that's unique about Visual Studio and the approach on the Web Services platform is that we're going to enable any language to play. Today, Microsoft offers several programming languages, and it's always been our belief that language is really a matter of choice. It's driven by what developers know, and it's driven by what investments a corporation has and wants to make. We don't want to be in the business of legislating what language to use. So as you're going to see in the rest of today's presentations, this new web services platform that Microsoft is building enables any language to plug in. And that enables corporations to really choose the best tool for the job, the best tool for them given their existing skills and their existing investments. They don't have to throw anything out and start over. They don't have to retrain, etc. And so that really is a key center point of the Web Services platform. All right, finally, we believe that not only does customer service matter, integration is a key point, and the ability to integrate with partners, the ability to build these applications rapidly, but then to deliver these applications with a very high and very reliable quality of service. And the whole notion here is to deliver a platform that is focused on services. A lot of it comes from moving to a message-oriented architecture. A lot of it comes from new Windows DNA 2000 servers that are designed to help customers deploy web farms and scale up and scale out these applications. You know, one of the things that's unique about Microsoft's strategy is this scale up and scale out model. This model enables customers to take advantage of ever larger hardware, but at the same time to group those PCs, those commodity hardware, together into web server farms that can scale up and scale out. And I know that you're all aware of the recent benchmarks in which the Windows DNA platform together with SQL Server, have just blown away not only the cost performance, but also the raw performance versus all of the competition. So the notion here is to provide a highly scalable, highly reliable, highly manageable infrastructure to run these applications, build them and then run them, and meet the demands of the largest websites that our customers are going to build. All right, let's talk now about, just at a very high level, to tie in some of the features that you're going to be learning about today, tie those features back to the benefits that I have just been describing. So the first one that I described was enhancing customer experience. The features that you're going to see that enable that are ASP Plus and what we're calling the services framework. ASP Plus is an enhancement to the existing Internet Information Server application programming model known as ASP, or Active Server Pages. ASP Plus is really going to unify ASP as well as the platform and the underlying COM infrastructure to deliver a services-based model. ASP Plus is all about delivering a client UI. And so ASP Plus is where you're going to find the adaptability to be able to work with all of those various 5 devices, the PC, the notebook, the PDA, the cell phone, etc., and all the other ones that are going to come online. ASP Plus is going to have the adaptability to work with and deliver UI to all of those clients. ASP Plus also includes capabilities for offline support, so that I can file and approve expense reports while I'm working offline, as well as just input the expense reports. ASP Plus is going to be network savvy. In fact, we're seeing significant performance improvements with ASP Plus, even though it is still an alpha technology. So, also ASP Plus is going to be available to all of the tools within Visual Studio. Visual Studio is going to bring ASP Plus right into the center of the environment. So whereas today you require Visual InterDev and you work with ASP through Visual InterDev, tomorrow with the next generation of tools with Visual Studio 7, ASP Plus will be available to VB, VC, etc., to all of those languages, to all of those tools from within that environment. And that will make it much more ubiquitous in terms of a application model and application platform. The services framework is really the next layer down, and John Montgomery will go into this in detail. It's really the next layer down in providing a framework for building these web services. It provides a number of frameworks, of reusable frameworks for things like forms, for things like data, for things like connecting to web services, and it abstracts all of that in a way that is much easier to use and reuse for the developer. So let's talk about the substrate now for service integration. What are the features, what are the technologies that are going to enable better integration with business partners? Well, first is a technology that we are all really excited about. It's called SOAP, which stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. I hope I got that right. If I got it wrong, John Montgomery will correct me. SOAP, which is now in its 1.1 spec. The 1.1 spec was released only, I think, 3 weeks ago. The 1.1 spec was co-authored with Userland, Developmentor, and IBM. And we're really excited to have that list of co-authors working with us on SOAP. SOAP is an XML-based standard. It's been submitted to an Internet standards body, and it's all about how objects can communicate with each other across the Internet. It enables all of the object and platform integration that I've been talking about that's going to provide the web services integration model. SOAP is really that technology substrate, which itself is built on top of standardized XML that enables web services. And the key message here for customers is that at the very bottom of the web services platform, there's a technology substrate that is built on Internet standards, and that provides them with a great deal of flexibility, a great deal of comfort, a great deal of interoperability that they can work with their existing investments, and that the investments they're making today will be protected for the future. So SOAP is the lowest level protocol. BizTalk sits at a higher level and provides for long-running business processes. It's really all about the integration of both business documents expressed as XML and business processes, as well as web services. So BizTalk can really tie all of these together and orchestrate all of these. BizTalk, as well as Host Integration Server and the technologies within Host Integration Server, will also provide a number of connectors so that customers can leverage their existing applications and their existing systems. So connecting to mainframe CICS applications will be very easy using the connectors found within Host Integration Server and BizTalk. So that's really the integration, the features that enable integration, and you'll be hearing more about those in the coming weeks and months. Now let me spend just a minute here on the next slide with the rapid development capability of the web services platform and the technologies that Microsoft is providing for those. I've already spoken extensively about Visual Studio 7.0. It really is all about comprehensive support for web services, providing a choice of languages, including VB, C++, and a new language that you'll be hearing about, C#. Now, C# has not yet been announced. It is an enhancement to C++, an extension of C++. It's going to be announced on Monday, the 26th of June, so please keep it confidential until that time. And we're going to be having an entire session. Tony Goodhue is going to be spending an entire session on C#. Suffice it to say that C# is really a modern, object-oriented language that is designed to provide high productivity for the C++ developer who is building web services. Now next is J++, and we always get asked the question about Visual J++ and what its future is in this world. And I really can't tell you much more today than we have known for the past several months or a year, that there's a cloud of uncertainty that is sitting over Visual J++. It's a legal cloud. We're currently in litigation with Sun regarding our ability to innovate with J++. We believe in the Java language. We think the Java language is really great, and we expect to see some Java languages on top of the web services platform. So we certainly think that's important, and our strategy is choice of languages, including Java. The contention is really about Java the platform. Java the platform is really a competitor to Windows the platform. So that's really where the contention is and where the uncertainty lies. We don't know if Java or J++ will be a part of the next generation of Visual Studio. Visual Studio 7 will also be built on top of the the web services platform that I've been describing, this common runtime and framework architecture. It'll provide an IDE and runtime that is targetable by third parties. In fact, we've already announced at least 30 Visual Studio integrators who are taking part in the Visual Studio Integrators program. VSIP enables third-party tools and languages to plug into Visual Studio and live within the Visual Studio environment. And this is really important to give developers a really nice life cycle development experience all the way from design through deployment using Visual Studio as that development platform. And Visual Studio will also be delivering or taking advantage of the significant COM enhancements that will be part of the web services platform. Quality of service, I would like to speak just for a moment about improved quality of service. There are a number of products that are being announced to enable improved quality of service. Of course, hosting is very, very important in our model, and there are a number of efforts underway to provide not only hostability for our application platform, but also customization and programmability. We're not going to be talking so much about those today. They're more of a future technology that we'll be talking about soon. In terms of operations, we believe that the web services platform will enable the design of really fault-resilient applications. There are a number of features within the web services framework that enable safer applications, more secure applications, applications that just work and keep running. More so than designs that you may have today. The Application Center Server product is also falls under the category of operational design considerations. Application Center Server is going to enable the deployment and management of large-scale server farms to enable these applications. And as I said, scale out and scale up are the hardware models that we're building on top of to enable quality of service. So the next slide is very, very important. So I'd like you to make sure that you take a look at this slide. It's called Microsoft's Platform Role. I'm getting towards the end of my presentation now, but I wanted to just make a couple of points here about where Microsoft is going to fit and where we're going to make our investments in this new platform. We talk a lot about the openness of this platform, the standards of this platform, the ability to integrate with all the various platforms that are out there. It's kind of sounding, you know, very nice and very politically correct and very United Nations, but at the same time, we feel very passionately about our ability to transfer and leverage our existing investments in the Windows platform into this new services platform and make that just as profitable as the Windows platform has been for us. So exactly how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to build this slide, so why don't we stay on the slide and watch this as I build it. The first thing is that we believe that the PC will remain a premier web services client for years and years and years to come. I don't believe that we've achieved even 50% penetration of PCs, and in many countries we've achieved much less penetration of PCs. I think we view the PC as really being a ubiquitous device that will be in most homes in the world and will be this services client. We're going to continue as Microsoft to invest in this client experience so that the PC gets a rich experience as part of these web services. Things like offline support, things like all of the great multimedia that you have with a PC, things like broadband access. All of these things will be exploited on the PC, and Microsoft will be right there investing in that. So that's part of the role, is on the client. Now, as I build this, you can see new devices coming online here, web TV style devices, handheld devices, cell phone devices. We're going to continue to make investments, and you'll see new announcements about investments that we're making in these various devices. We believe that that Microsoft software will be running on these platforms, and that Microsoft will derive significant value from building out these new devices and bringing web services to these new devices. Next, of course, is the web services platform. In fact, web services as the generic paradigm for this next phase of the internet is all well and good, and we think that it's very important, and it represents great opportunities for everyone. But Microsoft aims to really build the best implementation of a web services platform on top of that web services substrate. So you're going to see the Windows capabilities and Windows DNA Server capabilities on top of this web services infrastructure, and Microsoft will deliver that and will make that a key part of our business model. Finally, web services themselves, as you can see here in the center of the diagram, Microsoft will deliver things like Passport, like Hotmail, etc., that are horizontal services, and we expect to continue investing in those and build those out as a services model and a revenue model as well. Tying this all together, you can see that the web services programming model is really the investment that Microsoft is making. We're investing in this paradigm, in this programming model of web services, of exposing components on the web as programmable objects and building the infrastructure to support the construction and deployment of those web services in a very, very efficient, very, very performant and scalable manner. So that is Microsoft's role, and we're very excited about it as the way to carry us into the next 10 years of growth. So just to wrap up here on the final slide, I want to talk about why Microsoft, and then I'm going to take some questions from the audience that have come in as we've been talking here. And this really comes down to, why should enterprise and .com customers look to Microsoft as a key partner for the future on the internet? That's really what it comes down to. And I've put up 5 points here. I bet you can think of others, but it really sums up to Microsoft is the only partner that has the depth and breadth, the scope and the scale, the existing talent pool out in the industry to deliver all of the vision that we have been talking about here this morning. It's a major shift. It represents major opportunities at the same time for customers, for businesses, for consumers, and for the industry to take advantage of this move to XML, of this move to programmability on the web, of this move to richer services, of this move to more rapidly deployable services. Microsoft really has what it takes in terms of the leadership ability and in terms of the technical depth and the industry support to make this happen. And we really look forward to making it happen along with our key partners and our field that's listening in today. So I thank you very much. I appreciate the time that you've taken to listen and understand Microsoft's strategy for the web services platform. I promise we will announce the final name for NGWS very shortly. And what I'd like to do now, if you have some of those questions, if you want to just pass them over, then I'll be able to did I mess up the microphone here?
David, if you can just mention again that they can submit their questions on the chat line right now or via
Count at Microsoft. If you didn't hear that, you probably didn't, since my friend Eric doesn't have a microphone on. Count at Microsoft is the alias for submitting questions if you're live on the web, or through the live chat. You can submit those questions now, and or during the next and subsequent talks. Eric is going to hand over the questions to me, and then I and we will answer them for you. So I expect these questions to be pretty interesting. I can already see, just glancing at them, that these questions go pretty deep. Let's start with the first one. I guess this is Eric's favorite. Do you hope to attain some independence from Sun's Java with these announcements? So we go right to the heart of the matter, eh? Thank you. You know, Sun is, you know, make no mistake about it, Sun is a key competitor, and Java is a key competitor here for the platform. Java, the platform, is really, as I've said, a competitor to Windows and to the web services platform. But you really can be excited about why the web services platform is better than the Java platform. We really focus on a vision with the web services platform that is larger than languages, and it's certainly larger than platforms. As I've described for you, our vision of the internet is really all about serving up programmable components, about providing exciting new user experiences on the web, about providing new business opportunity, and it's all based on XML and SOAP and a loosely coupled messaging platform. Java really offers none of these, and we really have a truly new and bigger vision with the web services platform. Now, of course, our tent is big enough for Java to play a role, but I think we fundamentally believe that our message of use what you know and integrate with what you have, I think that's very important. Use what you know, choose the language that you like, and any language will play. I think that you're going to hear an announcement today. There's over 25 languages. If you don't hear the announcement today, it'll be shortly. There are over 25 languages that are going to be announcing on this platform. So customers really can use what they know and, as I said, integrate with what they have. So I think this web services vision will resonate more deeply with customers than this Java thing, which really is, I think, you know, starting to show its age. So position it as such. Okay, good? All right. I got another one. We have, I think Eric passed me a total of 4, so I'm going to go on to the next one. And this is another deep question. Thank you very much. I'm glad you guys are on the ball. I guess this is probably the East Coast guys who are writing in, because it's still early here in Redmond. Is the runtime cross-platform? Is the runtime cross-platform? So that's a very interesting question. It's a very interesting and attractive proposal to be a cross-platform solution. But we think that cross-platform has been tried. We don't think that the benefits of cross-platform have really been realized. I think if you look at this very carefully and look below the surface of the hype, you see that developers are still using one set of tools and platform to get this cross-platform benefit, but then they're using a whole other set of tools and platform and infrastructure to really take advantage of each platform. The net is that we found that developers really want to take advantage of all of the services in Windows, the ODBC, the OLEDB, all of the connectivity, all of the services that Windows provides. They don't want to work at a level of abstraction. They're not willing to trade off the power of platform access for the abstraction of cross-platform. So we really see integration as the high order bit, not cross-platform. You want to be able to deeply exploit the platform. That's what we're building with our web services platform, so that developers can deeply exploit the services framework, the ASP+, and all the way through to Windows and COM+. And at the same time, we're building it such that integration with other platforms is built in. And we think that's going to make customers more successful than trying to go cross-platform. Now, with that said, we're not closing the door. We are investigating, thinking about these opportunities, and we don't want to say an absolute no that it would never happen, because there are some things that are attractive. So for today, integration. Tomorrow, we may have a cross-platform capability that we want to talk about. So next question. And this is a good one too. How does web services position against EJB, and how does it fit into Windows DNA? So how does it position against the competition, and then how does it build on top of the model that we have today? Because we don't want, and I hope you haven't taken this message away, we don't want people to think of web services as a replacement for Windows DNA, but rather building on top of, just as I showed in the slide where we went from MS-DOS to Windows DNA to NGWS. We're really talking about building cleanly on top of the existing models. So, in terms of web services versus EJB, well, web services is really an integration model. It's not an object model. So the two really do not position specifically against each other. Web services integration, EJB objects. I think it would be more accurate to position COM+ against EJB and J2EE against DNA 2000 and web services. That really is the positioning that you should be thinking about. COM+ and EJB, J2EE, and DNA 2000. So in terms of positioning at the highest level, we think that DNA offers a much more complete, much more mature, much more integrated story than J2EE. J2EE is really positioned as an older architecture. It's based on tightly coupled, brittle objects that I described earlier. So think of web services as an evolution of Windows DNA. It's based on internet standards. It's highly scalable and reliable as opposed to J2EE. And we have the benchmark numbers to prove that. And we preserve the N-tier architecture and investments in components that customers are making today. I just want to put in one plug here, just so that you know that it's available. At TechEd in June, which is earlier this month for me, we announced something called the SOAP Toolkit for Visual Studio 6. The SOAP Toolkit enables customers today to take their existing COM objects and turn them into web services, to deploy them as web services. And we provide the infrastructure pieces so that customers can see how their existing COM objects today and COM+ objects move to web services, and to start building that infrastructure. And I think that's very key, is that we're moving from a tightly coupled COM-based architecture to a service-oriented infrastructure that is really that much better than EJB, what EJB has to offer. Okay, so one final question. I think I have time.
And then we have a few quick
Announcements?
New questions.
New questions?
And then,
Oh, so my discussion has obviously spurred a few more.
Yeah, we're going to go a bit longer.
Okay, all right. I got the green light to continue. I guess people are jazzed about the content. So the next question, the fourth question, is what does IBM's support of SOAP mean in terms of WebSphere? So this person obviously is on the ball. I congratulate you on that. You know that that IBM is just recently announced some toolkits on top of SOAP, that they're a co-author of the SOAP specification. We're excited to be working with IBM on the SOAP specification, and we'll continue to do that going forward. And they've released a toolkit. Now, in terms of WebSphere, I am not sure what their specific product plans are in terms of SOAP-enabling WebSphere. The obvious thing to do from a technical perspective, and certainly the capability is there, to build SOAP integration in to WebSphere. In fact, at TechEd, we released some code, and we'll be showing this more at PDC. We actually have the Unix components available to deploy web service and SOAP applications today on Unix. And so certainly the capability is there. We hope that that WebSphere will surface that capability. I don't know if that is underway or not, but it's certainly something we'll go back and find out and work on. So so that's the questions that came in while I was talking. You said you had a couple more.
Yep. First question, maybe you can just touch briefly on FoxPro. Anything happening there?
Good. So somebody also...
repeat the question.
Oh, sorry. I'll repeat the question for those of you that can hear my friend off camera. FoxPro was the question. What's happening with FoxPro? And somebody probably remembers that I was at one time a couple years back the product manager for Fox. And in fact, Fox is still an important component of Visual Studio and is still a product that reports to me in terms of product management. In fact, I continue to spend significant amounts of time on Fox and our thinking there. We recently had a conference in New Orleans where we detailed our strategy with Fox. Fox is moving forward to Visual Studio 7. It will be a part of Visual Studio 7. There will be some integration with the new integrated shell, the new integrated development environment in Visual Studio 7. You'll be able to build web services with Fox, and I think we even have some more significant announcements that are yet to come with Fox. So don't count Fox out. Fox still has a significant following around the world. I think our last number was something like 450 to 500,000 Fox developers worldwide, which puts it as a significant player. And so our strategy really for Fox is to make sure that Fox developers continue to get support and at the same time continue to get the opportunity to leverage our new platform enhancements going forward.
Okay. Last question. We only have
last question.
If you have a body of code, what would be the best future migration path? Java code, I'm sorry. If you have a body of Java code, what would be the best future migration path? And if you don't have time to fully cover that, we can...
If you have a body of Java code is the question, what would be the best migration path? That question depends a bit on how much you have used all of the Java platform. If you've used Visual J++, I would say you're probably in pretty good shape, because the applications that you've created should move over fairly cleanly to this new platform. I should stress that we're going to continue to try and provide support for the Java code that is written in Visual J++, and Java has the capability to participate in this web services model. So there is an interop capability there. But I guess the best thing to recommend for this is to use a Windows DNA architecture where you're creating middle-tier clients. If those are built in Java, fine. I would start using VB and C++ today, if that's something that you can do to supplement that development. But build it as an N-tier DNA architecture and with business logic in the middle tier. So, unfortunately, that's all the questions we have time for. I'm going to capture those. Hopefully, we can fold those back into our Q&A. I thank you very much. I put up a slide that said thank you, because I really want to say thanks for taking part in this. I know that by definition this was a high-level presentation. We really wanted to tell you what's new about this platform, what's exciting about this platform, and why you should be getting your customers excited about this platform. The rest of the day is about drill down into all of the tools and technologies that make up the web services platform, and I look forward to taking part in it along with you. Thank you very much.
I just want to say that